So if this is our mental health, then it's represented by a seesaw.
Yeah.
Represented by a seesaw. So this, when it's balanced, that's where we might feel content and relaxed and just our normal or bored or whatever we're feeling there. On this side is the stuff that stacks, that causes us stress or distress. So it could be anything from having a pile up of daily demands to wider life demands to different things that we're going through. And it kind of stacks on this side. So we're now no longer here, obviously, we're stacked here. And on this side is all the things that stack, that bring us joy or excitement, happiness. And it's not right to live there all the time. That would be weird.
Hello and welcome back to podcast number 5. I was thinking on the way down, I was like, that's crazy. 5 podcasts already.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah.
But with us, as always, we've got Paul.
Hi, you all right?
And we've got Simon.
Hey, guys.
You've got me, Chris. And we've also got another special guest on with us today. And it's Sarah.
Well, hello.
So Sarah's going to come on, talk a little bit about herself and about her work and what she does. So how's everybody been since the last pod?
Yeah, all good. All good.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you like to introduce yourself, Sarah, and tell us a bit about you and about what you do?
Well, yes, good morning. Thank you for inviting me on. So I'm Sarah Lewis. I work for a company called Normal Magic, and we deliver mental health services here in Devon and Cornwall. So I'm a mental health nurse. Been a mental health nurse probably too long, 25, 30.
Wow.
So yeah, I love what I do. I can definitely tell you a lot more about Normal Magic and what that is, if that would be helpful.
Yeah,
That'd be great. Yeah, that'd be really, because I've never heard of it before. So, and that's why it's great to have you guys ever heard of it? I've never.
No, I mean, it was like obviously speaking to Toby, and then Toby pointed us in the direction of Sarah. So I contacted Sarah. We had a conversation about it, and Sarah explained it to myself. Obviously, that's why we got her on board, but we'll let Sarah explain a bit more about it.
Good little platform for it, I reckon, because like you said, I'm none the wiser of what it is, so it'd be interesting to get it out there. And so tell us what that is.
Well, thank you. So I was in the NHS as a mental health nurse for a long time, 25 years, and that was in child and adolescent mental health services, adults before that, and decided in 2021 that I wanted to leave the NHS, like the statutory mental health services, and do something different in terms of how we deliver and access mental health care. So my experience, if I whitter on about that a minute, so my experience that led up to deciding to leave, there was a few of us that decided to leave, was my role in the child and adolescent or mental health services was, there was multiple roles. You have lots of different roles, but one of them was about managing what's called the front door services, so all referrals coming in. And I think one of the moral harms that can come from people working in those roles is you're quite often turning people away because they don't meet threshold.
Yeah.
And there are some voluntary sector organisations that offer different things, but the majority, you're kind of thinking, we're just turning people away all the time, and there's nothing statutory wise to send people to. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So we decided in 21, there was a bunch of us that we would leave and do something different. And that actually came about because in 2020 was the good old COVID year.
Lockdown
and the front door of CAMHS was, we'd received multiple referrals every day, but it suddenly dropped with COVID and everybody going into lockdown.
Yeah.
So we decided we would phone people, those that were referred in, whether they were going to meet threshold or not.
Yeah.
And it was stunning.
Great.
Right. Yeah.
But then as soon as the doors opened and services went back to normal, that element had to stop, and it went back to screening, triaging, and potentially waiting list or appointment, whatever was outcomed. Right. And that we'd already experienced this doing something different, so we decided let's get out of here and challenge the NHS in
Yeah.
a beautiful love and peace way,
Mm.
because we do need to do something different.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Normal Magic was set up. What Normal Magic stands for, I actually wrote it back in 2016. It's a method of delivery. So it comes off the back of single session therapy, which I'm happy to talk a bit more about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the Normal Magic model that helps us deliver and helps help seekers kind of access it is, so normal is about what is normal for you.
What is normal?
What
Yeah.
is normal for you?
Yeah.
And we will all have our normal,
Yeah.
won't we? My normal will be different to
Yeah.
Yeah.
other people's
That's
normal.
it.
So how far off your normal are you? No good me judging you by my normal, because we're going to have a mismatch.
Yeah. Not one fits all.
It definitely doesn't,
Yeah.
does it? And we're all so different. And the way that we look after ourselves, or the way that we have, had life experiences, is all different and contributes to what our normal is. So that's the normal, is to remember and to remind that everybody's normal is different.
Definitely.
And how everybody reclaims their normal if they're feeling off their normal is different.
Yeah.
Mm.
And then the magic bit, it's an acronym. Is it an acronym? Anyway, it's a thing.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And so M is about reminding us as help givers and help seekers, so how are we being?
Yeah.
So how am I being as a listener? And how is someone being as a communicator?
Okay.
A is about active listening. So are we truly listening to where somebody's at?
Mhm.
Like truly listening?
Mm.
Or are we listening from a bias
Yeah.
or from a place
Yeah.
that is going to not be a true good listener?
Mm.
Yeah.
G is about generating the help seekers what next, not mine.
Right.
It's not up to me what you do next. It's up to you what you do next.
Yeah.
I is about inspire and being inspired. So we can already be inspired by, because we all have amazing strengths and resilience. We're all here.
Yeah.
We've all been through, goodness knows all sorts of stuff, and yet we survive it.
Mm.
So how do we do that? So how do we be inspired by our existing strengths? And then how do we sort of inspire with some perhaps new thinking? Because that's sometimes what people are looking for.
Yeah.
And the C is about complementing the whole process of help seeking, because I think we're pretty rubbish at help seeking. So C is about, and I don't mean complimenting in a weird way, but in a kind of, love that you noticed it wasn't going right for you. You've reached out. You're already 60% the way there if you've reached out and you're
Yeah.
looking for change about this thing that you've identified. So, reaching out, it needs, I don't mean celebrating with a big old party, but it needs acknowledging, because it's not easy to do.
Recognition for it.
Yeah.
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 So that's Normal Magic.
Mm.
So
Okay, cool.
we left in 21 and have developed our service since.
Mm.
How big is that service then? Where do you get your referrals from? Where are they? Are they referred from district councils, or are they referred from the NHS, or they've referred? How do you get your referrals through?
Well, when we left, I'm just going to share this a little bit first before I answer
Yeah,
that. When
no
we
problem.
left the services, we were like, we knew what we didn't want Normal Magic to look like,
Mhm.
but we weren't sure what we wanted it to look like.
Mm.
What we knew we didn't want then informed how our model developed. So we didn't want to take referrals,
Right.
and we didn't want a threshold. As far as I'm concerned, if you're worried about your mental health, you're worried
struggling,
about
you're
your mental
struggling.
health.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't matter whether it's got an impact on your life
Mhm.
or not. If you want help, you should jolly well get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's no threshold, and we didn't want to open or close sort of interactions with people. So people come back. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
So
And that's
Yeah.
important though as well, because like for mental health, sometimes it doesn't wait.
yeah,
You could be on the waiting list, like you say, if you don't meet the threshold, you're waiting 3 weeks to see someone. 3 weeks is a long time in your mind.
yeah,
It's like you need to speak to someone that day, really,
yeah,
when you're in crisis, and that's important, isn't it? So you breaking that mold, that's going to help numerous people, isn't it?
And I think that bit around help seeking when you're ready for it in that moment, whether
Yeah.
it's crisis or whether it's crisis, whatever that crisis is,
Yeah.
whether it's crisis, on a big scale, or whether you're just feeling ready.
Yeah,
That's the moment of change right there. So let's grab it, because if you're
Definitely.
ready, then we need to be responsive to that. So we've since been recommissioned by the NHS. So
Mm.
what we wanted to do was replicate the GP model.
Oh, they realised how good you were and thought, "Cool, we want them back."
Well, we're not pre-commissioned by statutory services. I don't think they would. But they're different services and they need protecting because they're higher threshold service.
Yeah.
But we wanted to replicate the GP model. So the GP model, we don't need to have a referral to get an appointment.
Okay, that's great.
There's no threshold. I can go in if I'm worried about, I don't know, changing shape on my arm, changing mark, I don't know. And I can go in if I'm, my leg's dropping off. There is no threshold to see your GP and they don't open or close. So that's what we wanted to replicate for mental health.
Okay,
great.
So we're now commissioned by GP surgeries. So we're directing GP surgeries. So we are obviously not in all GP surgeries. We've been going for 4 years now. Our longest contract with GP surgeries is down in West Devon.
Mm-hmm.
We're in East Cornwall.
Wow.
We're here in Exeter. And back in October, we started the first pilot, I think, in Devon for adult same-day access.
Wow,
and that's at
amazing.
the GP surgery. And
That's
we
great.
love it.
Yeah, I bet. So how is that funded? How is that? Is that private? Do we have to pay for that, or is that covered by the government? Or
so patients of those surgeries don't pay for it, but the
Okay.
surgeries do pay for it.
pay for it? Okay.
Yeah. So sometimes it comes out of different funding streams,
Yeah.
like health inequalities funding.
Right.
Sometimes the GPs have additional role funding, so they might use it in a slightly different way.
So if somebody wanted to access you guys, it wouldn't cost them anything,
Not
like
if
it
they're
would
in those surgeries.
if they go into the GP like normal, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And the idea being that they don't need to see the GP. I think the pressure on GPs is huge.
Yeah.
They're, the wait times to go and see them sometimes for a physical health problem can be quite long.
Mm.
But recently we were talking about what the percentage of mental health issues were, and it's really high. It's about 30-40%.
Right.
But then they're not always trained to or have the time in an appointment to really dedicate to someone's needs to talk about their mental health. Sometimes it's as little as 8 minutes. You might get 15, you might get a bit more. But so the GP surgeries that we work in recognise that actually the parity that is needed between accessing help for our physical care and mental health care, we should be able to access somebody who is trained.
I was just going to say, I can imagine with doctors, they want to help in every way they can, but then to be able to and give time and space to that.
So restricted, aren't they?
Yeah.
So I think it's that age-old thing of trying to sort the problem before it's too much, and then it leads into more like obesity. They bring these injections out to try and help people lose weight, so it doesn't go, because it's costing the NHS more money long run down the line, because those problems are spiraled out of control. And it's the same with mental health. It's if you're not receiving the support you need at the early stage, you're going to find it's going to spiral out of control so much that you're going to need a lot more help down the line. So I think it's important to try and like you said, the surgeries that you work in, what I'm trying to say is the surgeries you work in are noticing that, and they're trying to get in there early and help early before it's gotten out of control where they'll probably struggle to deal with it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes perfect sense.
So it's nice to hear that, because, when I first started having mental health, and the doctors were great, but it did feel a little bit like, try this, see you later. And it was just like, oh, okay. And you go away and you have your sleeping tablets to try and help you sleep. Okay, that was one thing, but there were so many other things that needed to be sorted. Yes, I had lack of sleep, and that is a huge, huge thing. Lack of sleep is horrendous when you have lack of sleep, but I just felt that there wasn't quite enough. It was, is your tablets, right, off you go, I need to get somebody else in now.
Yeah,
they're just so over.
Get to the root of the problem.
They're so over busy. Like, they've just got so many people in.
Well, like you were saying, with the limited time, a doctor's only got like 8 minutes.
Exactly.
And that's not enough, is it? If you're talking about your mental health, you can't tell everyone in 8 minutes. That's not a lot.
No, yeah.
Sometimes,
so more services like
Yeah.
yourselves like that. I think it's amazing to try and.
Yeah, and I think that what you were saying about the active listening, it's like, if I think about, okay, when I went and I was struggling with certain things, so I'm not saying that everyone does that, but the doctor that I went to see was really compassionate and really supportive, and he'd help me in the chain that I needed to. But their resource is like, okay, answer these questions, and then we'll see if you need some medication, talk works, and go through that. Whereas what I like that I've heard you say is that they don't need a category to be in a sense. It's about hearing what the person actually needs without
that's
having to go,
isn't it?
which it is so important that, yes, you need to go and get a diagnosis or whatever else, but sometimes the person just needs to be heard, right?
Yeah. So there's nothing worse than going to see the doctor and you almost feel like you've been fobbed off. And so like that's going to impact your mental health even more. That could take you've made a massive step to go to speak to a doctor, and then you've almost took a step backwards, haven't you?
Yeah.
If you've been fobbed off, but at least with yourselves, you're making that step.
Yeah.
And you could have made like 10 steps forward. It could open up many doors. Like I said earlier about the conversation we had, I was in a place where I was struggling a little bit recently with stress. And just from the conversation we had, it's like, well, where can I reset and go and move forward in a positive way? And that to me is magic. So, that's a good foundation for you and for all of us. If it can help just me, like how many people can it help? And
I agree. And I think we, the model that we use, because we don't have long wait times, and we've sustained that in the children and young people.
Yeah.
And adults, of course, the same day. So that's different again. But we deliver that service by using single session therapy.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you've heard of single session therapy before.
I've heard of it, yeah.
I have briefly, but I'm not au fait with it.
Yeah, same.
I'm one of these people that I don't know if I've never had it. I've never looked into, but I've always when I've had talk works, I spoke to him over the phone, and I just felt that it didn't sort of work for me. But I guess you have to be open to it for it to work. Is that right? Because
open to single session therapy.
Yeah. So I'm the sort of person who's no, I don't think that's going to work for me, and I'm very I don't know the word. I just don't think it would benefit me personally. But then is that because I'm not open to it?
And I guess it's about coming back to that normal and normal magic is what is normal for you. And if what you would expect in terms of support wouldn't be a one-off session, and it's a single session therapy doesn't mean you only have one, you have as many as you want, but it means you only focus on what you want to talk about in that session.
Yeah.
And it might be that for you, a longer period or something more prescriptive would be better. But I guess it's about what you're saying just now, one size doesn't fit all. So I think we're already quite familiar with single session practice.
Yeah.
And we are fluent in that with our physical health. So we go to the GP about that one thing, maybe two things if we can sneak another one in.
It's difficult. But
It's difficult. But we go in and we're ready. We're ready for that 8-15 minutes, whatever it is. And we're straight to the point. I'm here because of this. This is what I'm worried about. Have a look, have a listen, however we do it.
Yeah.
And then you're out with that one thing focused on. Does that make sense? And it's the same with the dentist.
Yeah.
Opticians. We go in and we talk about, my sight is a bit more blurry in this eye. Can I have it? Yep, we're in. We don't have to talk about anything else.
Yeah.
Don't have to talk about my history or whether my sight's been, well, they might ask me if my sight's been blurry before, but we don't ask for anything. We don't talk about anything outside of the context of what we go in about.
Right.
Yeah.
So single session therapy is about that.
Okay.
So it's about kind of what is it that you want to get from this conversation? And lots of people don't know.
No.
But what most people do know is what's led to them making that call or making that appointment. So I made this appointment because I'm feeling overwhelmed with this, or I'm highly anxious with that, or my mood's just dropped and I can't pick it up. And so there already is you're focusing.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And a single session therapy that we use on the adult line, sometimes our calls are 30 minutes long, sometimes less, especially those who are returning, because they're already familiar with how it works. So it's like, I wanted to bring you back because this part of what we talked about last time, it just doesn't feel like it's picking up. Excellent. Let's open it up and have a look. Tell me more.
That's good. Yeah.
Does that make sense? Rather than me in statutory services, we quite often will have to ask specific questions that kind of cover probably a holistic or a systemic view of your life. And that's right and proper for perhaps more focused services. But I don't think we need that as a general rule. And physical health, we don't have it. In physical health, we have the GP. We go in, we're focused. It doesn't give us a full physical.
No.
But if we're referred on to a specialist service, then they may be a more depth from our physical health. And I think that mental health should have the same access.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, because people just look at mental health and physical health totally different. I was having a conversation with someone the other day about it on Facebook. Basically, you look at someone with a cast on, you might look at them differently and like, oh, do you need this, need that? But mental health, it's invisible. So people, and that's the hardest thing. Like, where do you differentiate between the two? Yeah. Like, it's got to be equal, because ultimately mental health probably is more impacting than physical health, and that's what a lot of people don't seem to understand.
No, yeah. I mean, through work, we've parked in disabled bays and we put our badge up and we've gotten out, and I've gone out with the gentleman that I'm assisting and whatever. And, a lot of his issues are mental issues. And we've had people saying, oh, you don't look very disabled. And it's just like, how dare you? Like, you have no idea what goes on in this guy's head. Like, you have no idea. And because it's not, because he's walking and he's walking fine, we've all got out and we're laughing, we're joking, and he comes up and says, you don't look disabled. And it's just like that stigma needs to. It needs to change, because it's like you said, it's not all visible, is it? So,
no.
So what led you into mental health? And you've been in it a long time. So what made you go down this route?
Well, I trained as a nanny in the old days.
Oh, okay.
Right.
And then really liked working with children with sort of challenges going on. Then I went into young people with learning disability, and then I moved over to Langdon. Good old Langdon.
Oh, good old Langdon, yeah.
Oh, no way.
I travelled for a few years first, and then came back to Dawlish.
My dad was at Langdon.
Oh, was he?
Yeah. He was, yeah. Yes.
Yeah. I want to ask who your dad is.
Yeah.
I'll ask after.
Ask
after. I'll be like, ooh, who's that?
Yeah.
And I worked with someone called Vanessa at the time, and she was like, you need to do your training. Go and do your training. And I wasn't really keen, but and then I had my first child, and I thought, oh, do you know what? I do want to do something more. I want, not that my child wouldn't be proud of me, but I want, if I want my child to thrive and go, I need to start doing that. Yeah. So I thought I would be going into learning disability nursing, and spoke with Vanessa about what is it? Tell me a bit more about nursing and what that would look like. And actually what I realised, what I really liked was the complex mental health needs of the people that I was working with at Langdon, not the learning need. Well, and that as well. But so I went off and did my mental health nursing. Oh. That's how that kind of grew and evolved. And I loved it.
Oh. Not looked back since.
Not looked back since.
It's amazing what leads you in a direction where, obviously, like you say, doing that care and then moving on to where you are now and what you've set up. It's incredible. Like, yeah.
I think that's, having a passion for something it gives you that extra drive, doesn't it?
Yeah.
To be successful.
Yeah.
It's like like we were talking about, you know, making changes. You can be in a role and just be stagnant. If you've got no passion, you haven't got that drive, have you?
Yeah.
And you're not got the fulfillment, and that affects every part of your life, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's like make changes to make, you know, we want to have that balance, and, you know, like you're saying about making your kids proud, it's like, yeah, it's like if you've got that passion, you know, everything's bubbling out, isn't it? The positivity and that's just, yeah, that's important.
I do think I'm very lucky to do something that I love so much.
Yeah, there's a lot of people don't get that opportunity, do they?
No, that's it,
yeah.
It does help, doesn't it, when you really enjoy what you
definitely.
do. I love what I do. I think it's great. I really enjoy it.
Yeah.
Okay, some days are worse than others, but yeah, I love it. Absolutely love it.
It's such a added bonus in life, isn't it, when you're doing something you love? And I think the added sort of motivator for us now, my children are grown up, so they don't need anyone. You know, the group of us that are like, you know, passionate about system change now, well, that gets our energy. And we love doing it. We're actually hosting a single session, the International Single Session Conference here in Exeter next year.
Oh, wow.
So I went out to Rome in 2023 and presented our work out there with single session activity. So the single session conferences have gone from Melbourne to Canada to Rome, Chicago, and it's here in Exeter next year.
Wow.
And the international scene, I mean, it's a whole group of people that are passionate about system change.
Yeah.
So you kind of end up being around people that really, you know, when you're thinking we're just never going to make any dent in this NHS equality that we're trying to push for. And then you get fueled up. Yeah, definitely.
Wow. That's great.
And that's important.
Yeah.
You know, because if you can do it in numbers, you can make that change, can't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, and every country's different, how they deal with things, like their services are different. So if you can have something worldwide, that would be, well, magic, wouldn't it?
It would be magic.
I like it.
Fun.
It's normally my job there, getting your word, getting it in.
That's it.
I like it.
And single session therapy has got a global internet, you know, it's a recognised model of improving access to healthcare. We're just a bit behind the times, so we're
standard. We seem to be on the times.
We're here to change that.
Yes. Come on, positive thinking.
Yeah.
So can we touch on single session therapy a bit more? And dive into that a little bit more, because I'm quite interested to hear more about that.
Sure. So like I mentioned just now, single session therapy, it's a global evidence-based model. The idea of it is that so if you were to phone on that, like the adult, let's go with the adult line, if you were to contact and say, you know, that you're struggling at the moment and you just want a moment to talk with somebody, you're looking at what you want to get from that call as a starting place. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So if you want to, I don't know, improve mentally healthy living, for example.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's not as smooth as that, but those are sometimes the things that come through. I just want to know, what is it about your living that isn't feeling mentally healthy at the moment that you think needs to be different? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So I'm not going to start by asking, okay, so that's what you want, but I'm now going to ask you 40 questions that have got nothing to do with that.
Right.
So those don't get answered.
You're so focused as what that main.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's that one issue at the time. Like if you go to the doctors, I've got an earache.
Yeah.
You're going to try and treat that, not like what's caused it, not the foundation, just what's happening at the present moment.
What is that bit?
Yeah.
And I think lots of people don't, you know, and this is a consistent sort of experience, is don't know how to describe how they live in a mentally healthy way. Does that make sense? So we can describe how we live in a physically healthy way. So I have exercise, I eat my nutrition, or we know we have to do that whether we choose to do it or not.
Yeah.
But we know it. But when you talk about mentally healthy living, what does that look like for you? Or I experience that people aren't always very articulate in how that happens. Does that make sense? So we look at what so for example, if there's a particular story that's just happened in your life that has led to you to make the call, there is always I wouldn't say this like this on the phone, but there is always going to be a story that happens in our life. There is always going to be a story.
Yeah.
Well, we live with stories, don't we? Sometimes life is EastEnders and sometimes it's Springwatch, and it's like, I just want Springwatch and I'm sucked into EastEnders. That is like nothing wrong with EastEnders.
No, there's a lot of drama going on.
There's a lot of drama.
Yes.
That is my bit. So there's always a story that happens.
Yeah.
And sometimes I think we all focus on the story, which it's important to do sometimes. But what we're interested in is, not that we're not interested in the story, we're interested in what's your method of how you manage life stories.
Yeah.
So what does that look like for you? And that's the normal magic, because we're all very different. So maybe there's something about this story that needs changing.
Yeah.
And only you can decide whether you want to change that or not. This is your life. I don't have any part of those decision making other than discussing it with you. So there may be some things that you want to make changes with. You may not be quite ready, but you're recognizing that they might need to be made changes with, but you're just not ready yet. Or it might be that you're super ready and you're, already activating change. Or it might be that something's going on in life that, we can't change, or we somehow have to learn to sit with that.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
So,
no,
what's
definitely.
happening in your life at the moment, isn't it? So,
yeah.
And if you want to talk a little touch on that at all.
I think it's, no, thank you. It's quite prevalent right now that my dad going through a serious health condition. And last year with him getting diagnosed with cancer, and it not we were all hopeful, and they were like, okay, they were hopeful, be able to give treatment, and then all of a sudden it was like it's not curable, and that basically the options are you either have a full treatment and have no life, or you have radiotherapy and we can take the pain, we can reduce the swelling, we can reduce the pain, but it won't go. And so we had that moment last year, and we were like, okay, yeah. And he went through treatment, and he's been doing well. And then the pain started coming back literally this week, and the consultant said just start preparing, and it's just been a lot with like being able to go, okay, like how do I deal with this? Like I've got my own stuff going on. I'm like, I want to be there for my dad. I'm like, how do I deal with it? And the thing is I know in myself, I'm like, okay, like you were saying about, well, if I, where do I go? Having that first step of, all right, well, do I need to have therapy, or is that even right? Or do I just need to be heard to go, I just need to talk about stuff. This is affecting me right now.
Yeah.
So, having, like you say, being able to think about like, I don't need to fit into a category as such. I can just talk about, what's going on.
It's like what you said, it comes down to that it's not going to change, unfortunately.
No.
We'd love it to change, but that it's going to happen. Sadly your dad is going to deteriorate, and eventually he will, and you all know that, and but it's still getting your heads around that and knowing that's going to happen. And obviously it goes on to what you said, we all come across we have these stories and stuff in our lives, and sometimes you just can't change it. And as much as you want to, and it's finding things to be able to help change that aspect.
Yeah, and I think we were having a chat before we came in the room, and one of the things, it's like, for me, it's like I don't know how to deal with it right now, and it's saying like, oh, yeah, like it's okay, like, you know, I don't know what to do, I don't know what the best thing to do, you know.
Yeah, and that's understandable, isn't it? It's grief, and it's very difficult to process sometimes, especially when you're trying to look after yourself as well.
And it's a difficult one. Well, it's always going to be a difficult one. It's the only certainty we all have together, isn't it? That we are going to lose people that we love, and we're going to be lost ourselves. And yet, it's one of the hardest things to manage. And I think, you know, we lost someone in, you know, the core of our family 3 years ago, and it still feels very raw. And yet, how do we grieve healthily as a family? And that was the bit, you know, even as we were putting together the funeral, was about how do we do this in the healthiest, most, and that was a sudden loss, so it's slightly different, but that, it was actually a single session I had with a colleague, because I was just overwhelmed, and the grief in the family was just, you know, my grief, everyone, it was just huge. So I had a single session. She said, well, this is your time to learn how to grieve healthily as a family. And it just took that one thing to kind of go, okay, how do we do this healthily as a family? What does that look like for us? And then, you know, we are going to grieve, and we are going to feel. There are days that we just don't get and don't understand, and we feel tearful. And even opening that box makes me feel like it's a tearful thing, but it's always going to be when we open that lid. But then we somehow learn to live knowing that that box of pain exists in us. Does that make sense? But we learn to live with it and around it. And how do we become healthy?
It's so natural though,
grief.
isn't it? It's a natural thing. Like, people will be watching this, and everybody goes through it. Like you said, it's everybody. We're all going to go through grief. We're going to lose people that we love. It's a natural thing to lose people that we love and we care for. But it's nice, like you're saying, having that box in your head that's there, and you know you've got. And sometimes, you know, you open that box and it's going to be upsetting, but then also inside that box, you've got your memories, you've got your love, you've got your fun times. You were saying about your grandparents, you know, and now you look back now, you smile. You smile because you remember all those good things. And, you know, so it's a natural thing to go through, and you're not alone if you are watching this, and, you know, we all go through.
And I've been hearing it recently about the capacity to be able to deal with something. I'm like, okay, can I deal with this like that? Yeah, there are certain times that I'm going to be able to deal with something. Part of my head space is like, I have to just crack on with things, and it's just like, I've got to be there for him. And then I have a tendency to then go, well, I've got things that I need to do, but there's a part of me which realizes I learned it. It's like, well, what about me?
Yeah.
You know, what do I, like, it's like part of my mind is like, no, I just got to get on with things. And then part of it is like, no, like, how am I feeling in it? And then, well, actually, can I support myself for it, or do I need to talk about things? Like, just, you know, I appreciate you saying about it and bringing it back up, because it's being able to just talk about real life stuff. It's
and that's what's
so
important
easy
about, like, just this podcast.
Yeah,
you know,
just showing that, you know,
just talking.
Just talk about it.
It's real. It's raw. Emotions. You know, it's okay not to be okay.
Yeah, and
it's okay to cry.
It's,
you know,
it is, and it's so easy to just not say things. Like, to just, I know I've got stuff in the back of my head, and I know that there's stuff that needs to come out, and it's like, it's easy or a learned pattern to go, I can't talk about this. Or actually, I don't know who to talk to it to about it, you know?
I think that's a real key bit, Si, because I think talking about our mental health is never really the problem. I think our experience of being listened to alters whether we feel fluent or confident to talk about our mental health. I think choosing the right listener is really important, and in order to choose the right listener, I need to identify what sort of listener I need. So what do I need? Do I just need someone to collude with me or have advice? What? And I can talk a little bit more about listeners in a minute if you like. But that part around how do you assess what you need in this moment and what that listener is? Is it someone who is in the thick of it with you? Is it someone who is just outside of the picture altogether? Is it someone who you want specific advice from, or they just want to listen? You just want to be listened to or held, or what is it? And then we can seek that. Does that make sense?
That's a really good point, because like when I've been feeling, down or anxiety or ill or whatever, you always come to, it's like the people you talk to are not quite the people that you're looking for.
No.
And that's a great, sometimes I just want someone to sit there, listen to me rant, even if I'm angry, just sit there, listen to me rant about something that I'm not happy about, and that's it, be done. Or I want you to sit there and just don't talk to me, don't say nothing, just let me talk about it. I'll have a cry or whatever, give me a cuddle, we're done. Let's move on, sort of thing. And I think it's really important to try and focus on finding who that person is. So that's a really good point you made there, because I don't think sometimes when you talk to people, it's a generic person. So, talk to me about this and this and this and this and this, where you're trying to focus on someone who actually do the things that you want them to do. Which I think is brilliant.
And I don't think it's then about them failing us as a listener. I think we've not chosen the right person in that moment to listen to, or prepared them.
Yeah, it's interesting. And so at the start of the week, so a colleague is going through a very similar experience. It's different but similar, and I didn't want to burden them. I didn't want them. They've got a lot to deal with. Not just only in family, but work stuff, they're to look after the site. It's a lot of work. So I was just like, I don't want to put more on, but it's like, now I've spoken to her, actually, she was so grateful that I did. And we were able to have a conversation about how we're feeling. And it's things that saying, I shouldn't be thinking this, or I shouldn't be saying this, or whatever else. And it's like, you can deny yourself of saying something because of protecting it, or not being able to air something. This is how I feel. This is why it's like you say, having that listener that is non-judgmental, that can actually hold space, because it can also come down to someone you think that will be able to hold space, or looking at it like a physical pain. I know what this person needs, or I know I need to go to this person. Or it is a person that I used to go to them, and it's not the same anymore. They might have stuff that they're going on with, but to be able to have that, and I know, like, to be able to go to her, and it's helped us both talk about these things, but it's also as well, not just her, family, like the different kind of conversations,
I think there's also something about preparing your listener, and I think what I heard you that might have been a bit of a barrier initially, and I appreciate you and your colleague are now chattering, was assuming that your chat with her would be a burden when she hasn't given an indication of that. So actually, being able to ask someone, do you have headspace? And if they don't, I love that you've said you don't have headspace, because the last thing I need is a crap listener right now. Or yes, I've got headspace, let's go with it. Does that make sense?
It does, because at the start of the week I had this intuition to just say I need to just let her know before and let other people know if I'm upset in work or whatever else. I was like, she's the first point of call. And that was at the start of the week, and I said, I just want to let you know that this has happened. And she responded saying, I'm so sorry, and if there's anything that you want to talk about, I'm here. And so it opened that, and then when we worked together yesterday, we were able to talk about things.
So you already had that permission.
This is it. So that, in the preparation, that's what happened,
I think we all have amazing listeners in our life. It's how we identify them and notice the richness of the different listeners that we've got, if that makes sense, and how we use them. I don't mean like use our pals, but how do we use people around us like they will use us at times to scaffold or bring joy or things. Yeah,
and I used to be the listener. I was the listener, and I would be there for people and sit. And I've been finding it challenging to allow people to listen, like, to go, I do need, support. I do need someone there. And when you said about you had the single session therapy, it's like, I can imagine that was so good because it's being on the other end of it.
Yeah.
You get to really understand, okay, having someone else there for you.
Yeah. I think I'm very fortunate enough to be around people who are single session, internationally and locally, who are single session and amazing at it. And I know how to access it. I would go straight in and ask it and be it and do it and get from it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But most of us will also get single session style support from our social group. So you had a conversation with your colleague and then suddenly something's lifted or there's an alleviation of something.
Yeah, it's like the conversation we had previously to this. Like when I said to you before that I was struggling just with the conversation, we're talking about the method.
Yeah.
Like since that conversation, I've gone from being like stressed and whatnot, not in the best place, and I've made changes and I'm continuing to make changes and trying to be as positive as possible. And that's important. And, just from one conversation to be able to move forward in such a positive way, that's massive, and that just shows the importance of talking. Just that one conversation can alter your track.
You're right. We had a long chat about the method and lots of different things, didn't we? But it's you that took that and did something with it.
I didn't come into the conversation and say I was struggling. I was just...
No, that's right.
I was listening and I've took something away from it. So, for me to take something away from it, hopefully from people listening to this pod, someone can take something away from it and make the changes.
Yeah.
And
do you want me to share a little bit about
I was going to say, is there...
if you could, that would be good.
I normally draw this, but...
Okay.
Yeah.
I do have...
I can... Well, we can draw it in our heads.
Draw it in your head.
Yeah. If you're watching this, get a bit of paper and just draw yourself a ladder. A few snakes.
I'm going to try and... so if this is our mental health and it's represented by a seesaw.
Yeah.
Represented by a seesaw. So this, when it's balanced, that's where we might feel content and relaxed and just our normal or bored or whatever we're feeling there. On this side is the stuff that stacks that I'm trying to do it like this. It's the stuff that stacks that causes us stress or distress. So it could be anything from having a pile up of daily demands to wider life demands to different things that we're going through. And it kind of stacks on this side. So we're now no longer here. Obviously, we're stacked here. And on this side is all the things that stack that bring us joy or excitement or happiness. And it's not right to live there all the time. That would be weird. Yeah. And it's not right to live there all the time. That's not healthy for us. Well, neither is healthy. We kind of need to learn to live with this kind of constant going on in our life. And sometimes things hit and they're pretty big and there's nothing we can do about them. We have to learn to, adapt to whatever.
I'm just looking at that, and it's interesting saying that if you're like this, and I think somewhere in my mind, I don't know if other people can relate to it. It's like, okay, well, I need to go from this stress to joy. I need to be happy, so I need to quickly go. Whereas actually, just looking at it, it's like actually you need to.
No, don't.
No.
What were you saying?
I was thinking like as if you need to spend time with that to like take them off. So it's like, so then it can come back to balance where it's like, I need to like get rid of it instantly to have joy. Whereas actually it's not getting rid of it. It's actually
taking the load off a little bit just so it equals out again.
Yeah. Where is the load?
Yeah. and what is on here.
Yeah.
And if we've got something big that's a hit, so I mentioned that we, had our own really difficult time a few years ago and 3 years ago, and there's nothing you can do about it, but we're here. There's nothing practically to do other than to try and grieve healthily. But then everything else that was on that stack prior to that is now not even there because it's irrelevant.
Yeah.
That makes sense. And we've had to take it off. So it doesn't matter that I haven't done this or I haven't done that, or that I'm behind on this or behind on that. Suddenly nothing matters. So we have to figure out how to. Can you hear my belly rumbling through the microphone?
You say that just before you said that, mine rumbled earlier on, and I was like, I wonder if it'll be picked up on the mic. It's not thundering outside, guys. It's just, I'm hungry.
I should have eaten. So when we have things put on that we can't change, how do we sit with that and take the things off that really don't matter right now? That makes sense.
Yeah.
And that can just be pushed away. And then how do we just have a break from this to help us manage whatever's down here? And the break may not be joy and happiness, although we have permission to do that for whatever's going on. But it might be that the break is just distraction enough to just kind of help my head look in a different direction for a minute or be in a different place. Does that make sense? So whether it's so it's almost like you're learning to adjust to whatever's happening here by placing it, or well, for us it was placing it in that box that we then had to learn to live with. Does that make sense? But it doesn't go away. Sometimes we're happy and then suddenly we're all back here again.
Yeah.
Well, that's grief and that's loss and that's challenges. Does that make sense? So I think that can be anything. So even if we haven't got something, mighty going on, life brings us stresses here, right? Whether it's demands or, finances, whatever it is, past things that won't get out of our brains. So what we were talking about was about explaining the different areas of the brain that kind of bring us to what I would call two different thought patterns. And so we have what I would call the thinking brain, which is kind of this end. Don't put this in a biology exam, anyone, but just trying to make sense of it all up there. So this is the thinking brain, which is normally where we might have sort of considered thoughts. We're rational. We're able to problem solve and, be reasonably as functional as whatever our function of normal is. And then we have sort of at the back of our brain, again, don't pop this in a biology exam, is the limbic system, which is normally activated when we're in this place. And the limbic system, it has this beautiful thing in there called the amygdala, which is normally what provokes our anxiety. Well, it does. It provokes our anxiety response or fear response, or those which all comes out can be present in stress and distress, can't it? But what the amygdala is brilliant at is being irrational, inventing scenarios and catastrophizing. And then we emotionally react to the catastrophe that we've just invented. Well, that's back there. It's not real. And then the other thing in our limbic system is the hippocampus, which I'm not very science, we call it the hippo, which holds all your emotional memories. But it will hold those emotional memories of things that we've invented and catastrophized. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So it's that bit. It's kind of going, sometimes my amygdala will go wild with all sorts of ruminations and inventions. And I just have to catch it with my thinking brain to kind of go, your hippo is all over this. It's saving, you need to get yourself measured before you give this another damn thought. Does that make sense?
I guess that's the sort of thing, like before I had my ADHD meds, like I'd be going to bed, like anxiety, I'd be just thinking about something and then all these thoughts would be popping in my head. It's like they say counting sheep helps you. It's like, no, and you're telling yourself that, that it's that sort of thinking, Yeah.
So that's a kind of amygdala activated space. And sometimes the amygdala needs to be activated because it needs to push us into doing something about something.
Yeah.
So we have to worry. I do.
Yeah.
I won't do anything about anything unless I'm pushed to the limit of worry.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
So it's helpful, but when it's inventing, I nearly swore then, when it's inventing stuff, you know, that's not helpful. And when we are stressed and we've already got lots of things on here, the big old amygdala is active. So we just have to watch it. So the method was about noticing when we're activated and coming from that space. And that space also has got what we call first thoughts attached to it. So they're normally the things that we end up saying that we have to apologize for.
Yeah.
Because all those first thoughts have come out and they're normally emotionally fueled.
Yeah.
Fucking hate everybody.
Yeah.
Life, you, it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And those normally come from that activated space. And then when we get to our considered space, it's almost like, I'm really sorry I said those things. I can't, I don't know what was that. I was just wild and da-da-da. Well, so the first thoughts are back there, the considered thoughts are here. So I think when we notice and recognize that that part of our brain is active, it's only if we notice it that we can kind of go, do you know what, this is, I need out for a minute. I need to get back to my considered space. And it's that method of getting back up that ladder. We drew a ladder between the limbic system and thinking brain.
That's what I took from that conversation. Without the ladder, it's like, right, I need to get back. I want to be the best version of me.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what I'm trying to achieve. I don't want to be down here. I want to be like having that balance.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I'm going to be up here. I want to have that balance, and that's what's important, isn't it?
It is a seesaw balance, and that was what you took from it. The method, that's where the method came from.
Yeah,
right.
Is your method of climbing back up.
But that's the magic of an ADHD brain, where you take things in what you want, but the rest of it's just brushed
to the side. You just take the bits that you need.
Yeah,
and that's a good thing, I guess. It's again, it comes down to what you and your team do is you go to the bits that need it.
Yeah.
So you're not asking all these other questions that could be relevant, but at the same time, that's not what you're being asked. You're being asked, this is what's happening to me right now.
Yeah.
Okay, well, forget all that. We're going to focus on this.
Yeah.
And I guess that's what you've taken from it is, so yeah, it's really good.
Yeah, without even saying I had a issue at the first.
There you go.
You know?
And I guess hooking back into when we choose our listeners. So I certainly need a listener sometimes for my first thoughts. Because when my first thoughts are active, I think they're absolute law. But they're not. They're irrational and, not they're reactive thoughts. So I do have, Steve, one of my business partners, I'm business partners with Steve and Suman, and, they're both very good, but Steve's very good at listening to my first thoughts. I will ask, have you got headspace for first thoughts? Because I've just, yep. And then I'll rant about something. Won't believe what flipping happened over there. And, God, it drives me wild. And what is this government doing? Off I go. And he doesn't have to do anything because it's my first thoughts. They don't even need responding to.
Right.
They don't. They don't need anything. They just need to come out. And he will normally sort of say, because I walk. What part of my method when I'm particularly here is I walk a lot, and I walk the hills around where I live till I feel like my legs are gonna be jelly and my throat is bleeding, and I need to really pound those hills, and then it brings me back, and whatever was down here suddenly is irrelevant. And Steve will say, what do you need to do now? I'm on the hills. I'll see you in a minute.
Yeah, that's it.
And that's all that's needed. But those first thoughts sometimes need to come out.
But that's like a coping mechanism for you.
Yeah.
You definitely. Know, and that's important that that's a coping mechanism. A lot of people don't have that, they haven't got that in their back,
No, just thinking about so I've been feeling at the back of my brain that it's been lighting up a lot.
Yeah.
And it is that to hear that first response, some part of me says, I don't want to complain, people say, don't complain or whatever else. And it's like, and when someone offloads on me where they just say something, it's like, yeah, it's fine. Because it's actually, like you say, to think of that first thought where it's like, if there's something that keeps happening again and again and again, it's like, right, okay, well, there's some form of action, like you say, the exercise you need to do. I get on the spin bike, I need to do that. But if these thoughts are coming up and they're not going out. I just needed, again, the other day to say stuff. And even just listening and saying stuff, I was like, I feel I'm not irrational. Actually, someone saying, I am understanding. Like, actually, it is okay what you're saying. Like, they're just thoughts, or they're my thoughts. They're coming through me. So then I just need to let them go out. But some part of me says, I shouldn't be thinking this, or I shouldn't be saying it, or, whatever else.
And I think our first thoughts can be pretty wild, can't they? And pretty, not always a true representation of our considered space. Yeah. Does that make sense?
And that's the thing. If they're constantly there, they seem like they're true, or they become a truth. Yeah. But whereas being able to outlet and say whatever it is, it's like, it's okay.
Yeah. And the amygdala is amazing at organising lovely, faulty thought patterns.
Oh, yeah.
It's beautiful at it.
In depth as well. Some of them are so in depth, and it's just like, what? It's not till you look back and you just think, what was I worrying about there?
Yeah.
But at the time, your brain's so powerful, and it just tricks you into having
and
these
that's what's bad about alcohol. If you put that into the thing, the
get
equation,
that in the mix.
It just messes things up, doesn't it?
Yeah. Whereas soothers, it's like some things that, like anything, if it's too much, it's like, I shouldn't do it. Actually, it's like, well, if it's causing harm, going for a drink and enjoying it with friends is fine, isn't it? Yeah. But if it's causing harm, it's gone to the other point, because it's trying to suppress something. Yeah.
And it's noticing that, isn't it? Is, we speak to lots of people who definitely use drugs and alcohol. Yeah. And they're very open, well, not very open, but quite open about doing that. And that's okay to notice that that's not working. Now you're noticing that's not working. What is it about why that's not working? Well, because when I come round or I come down, I feel worse.
It's a short-term fix, isn't it? Yeah.
And so great that you want to notice that all day long, because there'll be lots of things that we do that are perceived as healthy or unhealthy that have a wrong effect on us. Mm-hmm. People can over-exercise or get over-fixated on different things as a way of blocking out things. It's not always drugs and alcohol, isn't it?
Yeah.
So how easy is it to access your service?
It's easy if you're connected to one of the GP surgeries that we are commissioned by. So that's down in West Devon, East Cornwall, and Cranbrook and Exeter, and Mount Pleasant and Exeter. But we're also the adult, so that's quite easy. The families just ring up the GP or do the e-consult, whatever their method is.
Yep.
And say they want to speak to, or they want an appointment about their child or young person's mental health. So that's in those areas. For adults, we're only in Exeter Primary Care Network, which, oh my gosh, which surgeries are they? So that's St Leonard's, Barnfield, Southern Hay, Whipton. There's probably another one. Anyway, it's Exeter PCN. You do that e-consult or phone up and just say you want to speak to the same day access mental health nurse. You get asked.
What about if you are outside of those areas? How would you? You wouldn't be able to access it.
No, we've got lots of primary care networks interested in our adult same day access.
Right. Okay.
So there is money being awaited for from our government. It's been waited for a long time. Mm-hmm. They talk about it. Yeah. But it's not yet seen.
Obviously, if it was too big a scope, then you'd kind of be overloaded, wouldn't you?
Well, I think so. We can upscale, and it also doesn't have to just be us. So it might be that there's other mental health services that are not statutory services because they're specialist services, but who may want to learn how to do it. So this isn't about us conquering the world. No. It's about us changing the NHS and whatever our part is in that. So for people outside, I guess watch the space. Perhaps ask their GP if it's on their radar to come in. Some GPs, primary care networks, we've got waiting for money to come down. So who knows? Let's just wait for this big old 10-year plan.
We need to push on the outside. Try and do
number 10. Get to number 10, and then I know he watches. So Starmer, you're watching. He's a regular watcher of our podcast.
Well, this is the most natural thing to improve access to mental health care.
So
let's
you're
bring
watching,
a bit of parity.
Let's put your money where your mouth is and stop putting it into war and put it into things that we actually need.
Yes, please.
So okay, so what social media? Are you on social?
No, utterly rubbish at that.
Oh, okay.
I'm not very good. I'm not a kind of social media person. However, we are running the single session international symposium next year, and as part of the international team, we've got people who are much better at that sort of thing than me. So we've got Keigo in Japan, who is going to manage our Instagram.
Oh, wow.
And sorry, my belly's going. I'm so sorry.
No, you're good. Okay, anyway, we can't hear over it. We're good.
We've got Keigo in Japan. It's music. Sharing music together. So we've got Keigo in Japan, who's managing our Instagram, and Santi from Spain, who's managing our YouTube with which different things. So I think it's about to start. Single session therapy is about to start getting promoted much better through social media.
That's great. Yeah, that's really good.
I don't know if Normal Magic ever will, because we're just so rubbish at that stuff.
I mean, it's work in progress, isn't it? It's one of those things. Social media is different. We never really thought about social media but that's what sort of took us off, wasn't it? Was social media.
I suppose Facebook was a platform for it, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And
it just took off from there.
Yeah. Progressed. And it's like that. It's a progression. It's like, things take time, don't they?
Yeah.
And the fact that you've started it and that you're doing it, it's like, should do social media. It's like, well, at the moment you're doing what you're doing, and then there'll come a point for the next part of it.
Yeah. I think our marketing is, we don't market. We've never marketed. I think we're about to kind of put together some reports, because we've got a lot of evidence now of how this is changing, not just help seekers accessing help in a timely way, but the knock-on effect of GP appointment times. So it's, if we're reducing their appointment demand for mental health needs, then their appointment availability becomes improved for physical health needs. So we've got some evidence coming through of that.
And everybody's benefiting that way then, aren't they?
Everybody's benefiting.
Yeah.
Including the onward referral to specialist services. It'd be good to kind of get, bet you all heard that then, didn't you? The onward referral to specialist services, it would be interesting to see if that's going to be reduced as well. So that would be good to see. There is another place that we are available free and anonymous and off-grid, and that's at a place called Rockaway Park in Bristol. Don't know if you're familiar with that.
No. Rockaway Park.
So it's a beautiful place to go and visit. So if you're in the Temple Cloud area, it's up there. There is so it's a community of artists and creators and musicians who live at Rockaway Park, and they've got a vegan cafe there. They've got lots of events and different things that go on. Music events. So we go up there once a month and deliver a single session drop-in therapy.
Oh, wow.
It's free, it's anonymous, and it's off-grid, because that's works best at Rockaway. So you'd be very welcome to come on up there. If you live in that area, or just go up and have a look. It's a cool place to visit.
Yeah, Rockaway.
Is that the one you done the podcast with?
Yes.
Previously?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think you listened to it, didn't you?
Yeah.
Or I pinged it over. No.
I did.
Yeah, it's a very cool place to visit.
Yeah, okay.
Do you mind if I spin a question back round at you?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mean, this has been awesome being here this morning and meeting you all and talking so openly. And I think you're very
appreciate you
great
coming on. Yeah, appreciate
that.
it. So thank you for being here and sharing with us what you do.
Thank you for inviting me. But what is your aims and your mission with this, not just this podcast, but your podcast series?
Yeah, so it all stems from the beginning, why we started it. I mean, it was just like a spontaneous thing for myself, created a space. I spoke to you guys and we got the Facebook group set up. And it's like during lockdown, I think it was massive, really. It helped so many people, connecting, because everyone was struggling with their mental health.
Yeah.
And then it sort of went a little bit stagnant, if that's a word.
Mm-hmm.
But the space was there. And I was always like thinking, how can we grow this space? Because when I was struggling, I didn't really have anywhere to turn, and I didn't want people to go through that, be lonely, because it's important to have that space, isn't it?
Yeah.
So it was like, yeah, let's try and grow this space, just randomly inviting people. Then I think we did. There was potential of joining up. I can't remember the name of the group. Do you remember it's my ADHD brain's gone. But we potentially got offered to join with a registered charity, but I didn't feel it was right at the time. So we just plodded along. And then I was away with Toby last year, and he said, "Why don't you do a podcast?" And I come back off holiday, and I was like,
got his phone call, and it was just like,
I was like, right, we're doing
a podcast. And we were like, what? And he was like, yeah, I booked it in. This is the day. This is what we're talking about. This is, and it was like, whoa.
I hadn't even looked at the fund, just yet. We're doing one. So the first one, I tried to get sponsorship. It didn't really happen. I was struggling to get sponsors. So I sponsored the first one. I thought it went really well, got really good feedback. And it was more about talking about our mental health to try and reach as many people. And I had so many people coming up to me I was thinking about getting my boy diagnosed with ADHD, because we spoke about that. And I was I felt really good about the positive feedback. So then we've just grown it. We've managed to get sponsors going forward. And the main aim, really, the mission is to grow it and try and reach as many people as possible. And for instance, off this podcast particularly, like I was saying about what I took from the method, if someone can take something from anything, any of the pods, if it helps one person, we've done our job.
Yeah.
But hopefully we're reaching, as many people as we can, really. That's the mission.
That's the aim, yeah.
Yeah.
And sometimes you just don't know which way to turn.
No.
And you don't know what to do. But then you created a direction way of getting diagnosed and then talking about it. And it's helped you to connect to people more and more so.
Massively.
And then you're like, okay, I can do more of this. So it's evolving that from talking about stuff that, again, like you say, the magic, the norm, you're normal. It's what for you, I can't talk about this. Actually, it's my normal.
And I can resonate with so many people. When I chat to guys, because I work in construction, I find a lot of the guys, when I take a step back and look at the bigger picture, a lot of the guys are on my level. And I can relate, if I'm working closely with them, or, I've got a little bit friendly with some of the guys, I sort of know if they're struggling. I'll be like, is everything all right? And then we'll have a chat. And, I think that's powerful, just connecting with people on that, and.
Well, even that's made it your normal now, hasn't it?
Yeah.
You're normal to notice when someone's struggling, when you might want to just reach out or be able to talk about yours. And that's, I don't know what you were like before, but, that's a really healthy place to be and to live in, I think. I
was definitely one of these people. Before I got my diagnosis, I was one of these ignorant people who, I can openly say it. I was like, mental health, it's what you're going on about. And I know there's a lot of people out there who are like that. And then
it's easy to be like that though, isn't it? Until you've been through it yourself.
And that's it. Yeah. And I just look back at how I was, and I think I was an absolute idiot, to be honest. And it's totally flipped the way I look at things. And ultimately, I just don't want people to be in that position I was in at first, and just give as many people the opportunity to reach out or connect. And that's what it's about, really. And growing the platform.
I mean, it's a huge thing that you're all doing. I mean, just to have that conversation when you're on holiday, and then to be brave enough to kind of be present and do something and expose, expose, or not expose, but kind of be vulnerable perhaps with some of the stories you're sharing.
The hardest thing though, what we're finding is getting the audience to sort of grow it, to reach enough people. Like we've only got X amount. Like if we could grow it and get it out to more people, obviously that's good for us to move forward, but also it's reaching more people, it's helping more people, and that's what's important.
Because the feedback we received has been great. Like I've had people come up to me and, I've watched all your podcasts and they're great. It's really helped me. I've gone and sought help, or I've done what you've said, or I've looked into the guests we've had on. I've looked into this, I've looked into that, and it sort of started off as in, it's okay not to be okay, and for the stigma around males to talk about their issues and talk, because I was one of these people that never did. And I regret that now because it got so bad, me keeping it in and not doing anything. I really hit rock bottom, and then I was worse. I was awful. I was really bad, really poorly. But and then it's sort of grown so much from there that we've started to have females come forward and send us, because you don't have to talk to us direct. We've got private messaging, haven't we? And we've got people that want to put stuff on social media to ask wider audiences of what's going, and that's all private, isn't it? We don't have to put a name up. So if you've got any issues or you want to ask any questions, then we'll pop that up into our social medias, and people will start commenting how they're dealing with it or how they're feeling, and it just gives that person an answer of what that they're not alone. And that's why recently we've just had a female on, haven't we? Funny enough, she was called Sarah. And she come on and was talking about her issues and her problems that she's had. And I think it's going to resonate with females as well. So it's getting out there. The word is getting out there. So where it started from males, and now it's gone from males to males and females. And so it's getting out there, but it's just trying to grow, isn't it?
Yeah.
Trying to push it out
there. It's the foundation. And that's, Rome wasn't built in a day, was it?
No, it wasn't.
Small steps.
And people say to me, oh, God, you must make a fair bit from this. What? I was like, well, I don't see any of it. We don't make any. This is all voluntary. Like we don't earn no money from this, and if anything, we're paying out for this. We have to find sponsorship, like you said, and we have to get money to pay for the studio, and so this is all voluntary on our end of it. So we're not gaining anything apart from trying to help people and push people in the right direction, as yourselves do.
It's community, isn't it? It's like, what kind of community do you want to create?
Yeah.
Like, is it just we're doing it for a look, or like, you see someone, like, okay, or is it we've all got our own way of dealing with things? So I can see through how we've had the guests on the podcast so far has been their own journey of how do they deal with things?
Yeah.
Like, how does each individual have to deal with what's right for one person isn't necessarily right for someone else? And I think it's quite a nice direction.
So different for everyone.
It is.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
You get the odd tiny little bit that is the same.
Yeah.
So you will get like the odd bit that I find it hard to talk about, being emotional and about crying. And we mentioned it before. I found that really difficult because I'm not that sort of person, but it's amazing how it's resonated with so many people I've spoken to, and they've said, since you mentioned that, they said, like, I've had a cry, or I've told someone that I've had a cry, or I've cried in front of somebody, and they said it felt so good. So it's those tiny little bits that you can resonate with people, but at the same time, all our stories are so different, and we're following a different path, but at the end of it, we're all trying to get to the same destination, if that makes sense. So we're all at the start, we're all feeling that start, but our journeys are all so different, and we take different roads, different paths, but essentially we're all trying to get to the end destination of being, at the same place.
And the mind's so strong that it can tell you that something's wrong, or can say, I can't get help for this. There is no help. It's like you want to be out in more places, but actually it's the progression. Okay, we're here now. How do it takes time. And the same with us. We have started and it's like, okay, this is to have you on the show. It's like, okay, this is great. So to be able to progress in such a way of like, there are resources coming about. There are places to be able to go and talk about this. Actually, I can't talk about something to go, even just to have the sense of like, just because I can't see it doesn't mean it's not there. Like actually, okay, I don't know who I can talk to, or to even ask that question of, all right, I don't know anyone I can talk to, but I want to be able to talk to someone. I don't know now, but and things do happen where actually like you bump into someone or something that happened, be like, just because I can't see it, it's not happening. There is someone there.
Yeah,
you know,
there's always help
it's
out
like
there, always.
I've connected with loads of people through the group. Like I've reached out to them, and I always say my inbox is open, and they reach out to me if they're struggling, and that'll always be the same. I'll always give people time, you know.
Yeah,
and that's what's important, and that comes back to purely is I just do not want anyone to be in the place I was in. You know,
I guess that comes back to what you were just saying, so about the community you want to build, because you know your experience of being in that place. You know, you're now providing. You've learned. I guess you've grown from that, and you want to give back to a community. Should they be in the same place?
no,
Does that make sense? So it's almost like you're so motivated by the place that you were at. You're making positive change.
Yeah.
And that's a very similar kind of thing for us all, really, isn't there? Is, you know, we've all been moved so much by what we've journeyed.
Yeah.
This has to be different. We have to, and we are the people. People are able to make change and be different.
And that's what it's about, making change. Putting in that platform, you know.
Yeah. And we've sadly lost friends, haven't we, that sadly had taken their life. One quite recent. And because they thought there was nothing out there, that they've got to the point where that's it, there's no more help for them, and they just couldn't cope, and that was that. And we're just trying to get across that there's always something out there. There's always help. There's always someone that can help. And
it's about trying to find, you know, what is, you know, when we look back at the statutory services currently and how they're commissioned, you know, there is this kind of learned helplessness, I think, that we feel as a community because we don't fit that threshold or don't fit that criteria, or they only offer this model, and that's not what that doesn't sound like it'll work for me. Where do I now go? The people in my world, I don't think I can burden them, or I'm, you know, we feel so stuck, don't we? And I think there has to be, and yet I don't think we feel that for our physical health.
No.
And I think that's because we know we can go to the doctors, we can go to the pharmacist without any problem, any judgment, any threshold. And mental health, I really truly believe it needs to be the same.
Yeah.
And it is such a huge cause of death. I think it's one of the highest, isn't
massively.
it?
It is. Yeah,
I haven't seen the latest stats, but I'd imagine
it should be happening. It should not be happening.
Well, there's no service to stop it.
No, that's it. And
so that's the bit, isn't it?
So that's our massive aim, is just to get out there, tell people they're not alone, and, you know, reach out to anybody that you can. And that's why obviously your service is fantastic. I think you guys are doing an absolute great job. So you're welcome.
So are you guys.
We need to work in the background and try and push it so it can grow.
Sure.
I think it's great. It's,
you don't know what's going to grow.
No.
Like, you know, from a conversation or how there's risk with everything. And, you know, for you again, Paul, to just go, I'm just going to do this and invest, and so grateful that you did, because to be sat here right now, you know, and to bring us together, you have like to talk about our own situations, and you know, it has brought so much, you know, so.
And it's just at the start, like you say, it's the foundation, isn't it?
Yeah.
And you need a foundation to grow, don't you? So
that's it.
And that's the hardest part, is getting that foundation and then building up from there. But
yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Right, well, thanks a lot, guys. It's been a pleasure as always. Thank you very much, Sarah.
Well,
really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Utter pleasure.
And you guys, what we'll do, we'll put some information about Magic, can't we, on our pod of the places where the surgeries and stuff that people can access if that's okay.
Yeah, or to connect to the website and people can contact us if they.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah,
so
good.
Awesome. Catch everybody on the next one.
All right.
Thank you.
Peace out.